So what if I told you this secret to winning in one of the most high-stakes games on the planet has almost nothing to do with some secret formula and everything to do with mastering yourself? Okay, let's get into it because we're about to unpack some seriously timeless wisdom from the absolute legends of trading.
All right, so the book we're digging into today is Jack Schwager's The New Market Wizards. It's a classic, right? It's basically him just sitting down with the best traders in the world to find out, what's their secret sauce? What really makes them tick?
And right at the start of the book, he hits us with this quote from William Blake, and it just perfectly nails the core idea here. Success isn't about finding someone else's holy grail system and copying it. Nope. It's about building your own approach and taking total, complete ownership of your results, both the good and the bad.
But here's the thing. Before we can even get to the winning part, we got to talk about losing. A lot. It's a huge theme in the book, and this quote really captures it. What Schwager found, and what all the great traders know, is that the road to success, well, it's literally paved with the lessons you learn from your biggest, ugliest mistakes. So if we want to know why the pros win, we have to start by figuring out why almost everybody else loses. And the best place to begin is with a pretty raw and honest story from the author himself, Jack Schwager. And this is what's so wild. I mean, this is the guy who wrote the book on the world's best traders. And even he walks right into a classic psychological trap. He didn't even really want to be trading. But you know how it is? A few good wins, and suddenly you're sucked right back in, setting yourself up for a massive fall. And you can just see the whole thing falling apart, one step at a time. It's a total downward spiral. It starts with greed, right? He takes a small hit and immediately thinks, I gotta make that back, and fast. So what does he do? He breaks his own rules, follows some hot tip, then he just starts ignoring all the flashing red lights telling him this trade is a dud. He completely gave up control, and one bad choice just led to another. Okay, and here's where it gets really, really interesting. Schwager has this light bulb moment. He realizes this toxic pattern, this mix of ego, blind hope, and just ignoring the facts. That's not just a trading problem. Nope, it's a human problem. And he uses this powerful analogy to prove his point. So check out this comparison he makes. It's pretty intense. On one side, you've got your average trader blowing up their account. On the other, you have Saddam Hussein's thinking during the first Gulf War. And the parallels are just chilling. Both started with a plan that seemed smart, low risk. Both completely ignored all the warning signs. Both just clung to hope, thinking a miracle would save them. And in the end, both only gave up after getting completely wiped out. It's a powerful lesson in how ego is the ultimate account killer. Okay, so we've dissected failure, we've seen what not to do, now let's flip it. Let's get inside the heads of the winners. What makes these market wizards tick? And the number one takeaway Schwager had, the core belief, is this. There is no magic bullet. There's no secret indicator you can buy. The real secret, it's inside you. It's an internal game of psychology, of discipline, and maybe most importantly, finding a style that is uniquely yours. And one of the biggest traits he found in almost every single one of these wizards is patience. And I don't just mean a little patience. I mean a deep, profound ability to do absolutely nothing. To just sit on your hands and wait for that perfect setup, that fat pitch, instead of swinging at every single thing that comes your way. I absolutely love how the legendary investor James Rogers puts it. This quote is just perfect. He says he just waits until there's money lying over there in the corner, and all he has to do is go over and pick it up. In the meantime, he does nothing. That is the level of discipline and patience we're talking about here. It's incredible. Okay, but what happens when things go horribly, horribly wrong? To really get the wizard mindset, you have to see them under fire. And there's this insane story from Bill Lipschitz, a total legend in the currency world, that perfectly illustrates this. Look at this number. That's not a mistake. $3 billion. That was the size of the position he was holding. He was short the Deutschmark on what should have been a totally quiet afternoon. He figured, hey, no big deal. And then, bam, out of nowhere, a surprise speech from Gorbachev hits the wires, and the market just explodes against him. We're talking 8 minutes of pure chaos. And the absolute worst part, there was no liquidity. No one was on the other side of the trade. He was stuck, completely and utterly trapped in a $3 billion position going the wrong way. But here's the real lesson. When he looked back on that moment, Lipschitz said the absolute terror wasn't about the money, even though he stood to lose a fortune. It was about the complete loss of control. He realized he had put himself in a position he couldn't get out of. He'd failed to manage his risk. That was the real nightmare.
And that story just perfectly sets up this core rule that all the wizards live by. It is so, so important. If you can't bring yourself to take a small, manageable loss, sooner or later, the market will make sure you take the mother of all losses. All right, we've talked about the psychology of failure. We've talked about the mindset of success. Now we're at the very end, and we've saved the biggest, most profound insight for last. And honestly, this one's going to make you think. So after all these interviews, all these incredible stories, what's the one thing, what's the single greatest secret of the markets that ties this whole thing together? It comes down to this one quote from another trading giant, Ed Seykota. He said, "Everybody gets what they want out of the market." Now wait a second, what does that even mean? Most people lose money in the market. Nobody wants to lose money, or do they? Well, what Seykota was getting at is that our subconscious is often in the driver's seat. And this is when it all clicks for Schwager. He looked back at his own disastrous trade and realized, deep down, he was totally burned out. He didn't want to be trading anymore. So losing all his money was the only permission his subconscious could give him to finally stop. In a really strange way, he got exactly what he secretly wanted, an exit. And that really is the final, most important question for you. And it goes way beyond the trading floor. Take a look at your own life, your career, your goals. Are the results you're getting the ones you say you want? Or is it possible that there's a deeper subconscious part of you that's actually in charge, steering you towards a totally different outcome? Because what these market wizards teach us is that the first, and maybe the hardest, step to getting what you want is figuring out what you truly want.